Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Ministers of Denmark and Israel and the Chancellor of Austria. Welcome.
Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen of Denmark and Chancellor Sebastian Kurz of Austria, welcome both of you to Jerusalem. This is a special day when two dynamic European leaders come together to Jerusalem to discuss together how we continue the battle against COVID. Israel has been at the forefront of this battle and has met those challenges, as you have too in your respective countries. We are now emerging from the corona with the green passport, having vaccinated 90% of our population has received one jab or two, or has already recovered. So we don't have that far to go. I wouldn't say that we're rushing towards herd immunity, but we're getting there, and we'll see how that works. I think Israel serves as a model for the world, and we're discussing some of our experiences, sharing those experiences with our friends, and indeed your two wonderful friends for Israel. But we're discussing something else, and this is the main purpose of this visit. I think we're all aware, the three of us, that once we get over this cycle of the disease, we have no guarantee that it won't come back. We don't know how long, nobody knows how long these vaccines will hold up. Is it half a year? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? Is it more? Is it less? We don't know. And therefore we have to protect our people against the reemergence of this pandemic or mutations. And we want to create two capacities. We think that by joining our resources, the resources of three small but very able and gifted countries, we can better meet these challenges. What we're talking about is establishing a joint R&D fund of Israel, Austria, and Denmark, and beginning joint efforts for common production of future vaccines. I think this is something that we have to do because we're going to probably need, I can't say with certitude, but with very high probability, we'll probably need protection for the future. We've just gone through a century where humanity has been very lucky since the Spanish flu that killed so many tens of millions around the world. But we've had, intermittently, we've had SARS, we've had Ebola, we've had other diseases, and now we have COVID. And we have to make sure that we can protect our peoples and also help other countries and humanity at large. So we're thinking of a joint, we're not thinking, we're going to do a joint R&D fund and discuss the production, the possibility of joint investment in production of facilities for vaccines. I think this is great news, and I think it reflects the respect we have for each other and the belief, the confidence that we have in working together to protect the health of our peoples. Mette, please.
And this is exactly what it is about, to protect our people. Since the beginning of this global pandemic, we have been working very closely together, Israel, Austria, and Denmark. I am very pleased that we are able today to meet here in person, and of course I would like to thank you, Minister Netanyahu, for hosting this very important meeting in order to bring forward an extremely important agenda, how to tackle the future. I think I can say on behalf of both Chancellor Kurz and myself that we are very inspired of Israel's ability to roll out the vaccines. We have had a very constructive meeting today. I stand here with two colleagues with whom I share the same vision. Timely access to vaccines will be critical for our societies in the years to come, maybe in the next many years to come. And we cannot allow us to be caught off guard once again. we have new mutations, maybe new pandemics, as you said, and maybe new health crises will endanger our societies again. So we need to take the initiative, and we need to get involved along with the, I think, entire value chain, from the generations of ideas, innovation, but also when it comes to the final distributions of vaccines. This has been the focus of our discussions today, and not least, of course, how we can help each other to achieve this vision. I think our starting point is good. We have, all of us, highly developed life science industries, and they can all of them bring unique knowledge to the table. We have agreed today to bring our knowledge together in a kind of a collective effort to secure better and also more reliable access to vaccines. Therefore, as we have already said, we will bolster our research and development cooperation. We all have promising research that could pave the way for next generation platforms. We would like in common also to explore possible cooperation on clinical trials. In Denmark, we are currently exploring ways to expand our national production capacities, of course in a very strong partnership with our own life science sector. We are in early stage, all of us, but I think today's meeting has provided me with a lot of inspiration on also how we can work closer together when it comes to research and when it comes to production capacities. Today's discussion also proves that we are not only able to talk to each other, but also to work very closely together. And I think, therefore, today we have taken a very important step in developing this cooperation. And therefore, we would like also to strengthen our cooperation in the future.
Thank you, Mette. Please, Sebastian.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, for inviting Mette and me today to Israel. It's always a pleasure to be here in Israel, but at the moment the world is looking at Israel. The world is looking at Israel with admiration, because under your leadership, Mr. Prime Minister, Israel is the first country in the world vaccinating its population. And Israel is the first country in the world that shows that it is possible to defeat the virus. And I will never forget the beginning of the year 2020, when we had a phone call and Bibi Netanyahu told me that this virus will be a huge threat to the whole world, also to Europe, even if we don't know it at the moment. And you were maybe the main reason why we reacted quite early in Austria when the second wave, the first wave hit us hard in the European Union. Together we have been in a close cooperation in the First Movers Group for a year now. And I think one thing is very clear: this pandemic can only be overcome through global cooperation. And I think we also all agree that vaccines will allow us to return to normality in the summer. But we have to prepare already now for the next stages of the pandemic after the summer. Experts say that in Austria alone we will need about 30 million vaccine doses in the next few years. And we therefore need to cooperate on this issue within the European Union, and I'm very happy that President von der Leyen has launched the HERA incubator project to tackle future mutations, but we also need to cooperate worldwide. And I'm very happy that today we agreed on two issues. First, to set up a joint research and development foundation to support innovative projects. And second, we decided to jointly invest in production plants in Europe and Israel to enhance vaccine supply. Vaccine production involves many steps, so we will divide the tasks between us and each focus on specific ones. In Austria, for example, lipid production necessary for many vaccines takes already place. And I would like to thank you, Bibi, and you, Mette, for this cooperation, because I think that it is important to work together in order not only to fight the virus now, but also to fight the mutations in the next years. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
One thing. First, I want to thank my friends Sebastian Kurz and Mette Fredriksen, because I think these are two dynamic young leaders who are coming with very able countries that have scientific capability and technological capability, and they joined Israel, which is fast emerging as the vaccination nation. So we'll be not only the startup nation, as we are known, but also the vaccination nation, and we'll be together vaccination nations. I'm very proud that in Israel we have excellent, really excellent health services. Sheba Hospital has been ranked as one of the 10 best hospitals in the world, and that's quite an achievement given that there are many, many hospitals in the world. And of course, we're very proud of our scientific team. In addition to developing vaccines, you may be aware of the fact that in Israel's Ichilov Hospital, there is a doctor, a scientist, who's developed a drug, a therapeutic drug, that is inhaled, and it was used on 30 seriously ill patients, and I think all 30 or maybe 29 recovered immediately just by inhaling from an inhaler. So we're developing these things as well, and we should take a look at that as well. We want to have vaccines, and we want to have therapeutic drugs for those cases in which the vaccines don't work. But I think that together we're starting here something that will, I think, galvanize the imagination of the world. And we agreed that if other nations want to join us, we'll discuss this among ourselves and welcome others to come in as well. So thank you. Thank you both. And now we're going to continue our work.